Well, it happened again. Put another tally on the board. I rented the M9A3 again. Now the M9A3 has really taken control of my wandering thoughts. I can't explain how something I never cared about before has really impressed itself upon me. And I'm trying to forget it, I really am. But an M9A3 is definitely in my future. And side note, I handled finally in person a 92G Wilson, and I'm going to be getting one of those. So stay tuned for that. I also handled a 92 LTT or LTT 92, whatever. Great gun, feels great. I just like the Wilson better, so that's what I'll be going with. I know a lot of guys are recommending the LTT before I get started down this road here, but the M9A3 covers what that would cover for me, and then the 92G gives me that heavier, smoother feel that I'm looking for a handgun, which we'll get into later when I get them. But back to the M9A3. So I shot it again, this time exclusively with the AAC Tyrant, not jumping between two pistol suppressors. So again, really impressed with the Tyrant. Although a lot of research and recommendations and a lot of people after me in the comments, I'm going to be getting rugged cans, the 9 and 45 cans they have. I've been researching them a lot, and I really like those pistol cans. They offer a lot, they look amazing, and they seem very well made, and I haven't seen anybody have a problem with one, and nobody has anything bad to say about them. So I'll be getting 2 rugged cans. I'm also going to get the Octane 45, and the reason for that is, 1, I can get it for very cheap. 2, a lot of people are not really looking at them too much, and I know someone with a whole lot of them that they want to get rid of. So I'll be getting an Octane 45 and then 1 rugged 45 and 9. So that out of the way, how I opened shooting the M9A3 this time was with 124 men ammo. Now the reason I did this is I shot it with the 147 grain, and that stuff's loaded pretty soft. So I didn't really want to base all of my opinions off of how it shot with this soft suppressor ammo pretty much. I wanted to give it a shot with what I'm going to be feeding it a steady diet of, and then switching to 147s for when I run a suppressor. Much to my surprise, the impulse and the overall recoil was very similar with the 124 NATO pressure stuff, which made me very happy. I also wanted to shoot it against my favorite hammer-fired 9mm, my Legion 226. I was also going to do the P30L, but I ran out of time and rounds, so I got shooting the bear drills and got sidetracked, so here we are. But overall, I was very impressed with the M9A3. I shot it versus the Legion a lot to see how I shot it. Now at 3 yards, I shot the same group size roughly, but the Legion, every round was touching in kind of like this weird V-shaped thing, and the M9A3 was kind of like a string of rounds, almost making an S shape. Then I pushed it out to 7 yards, and what I was shooting at was the right edge from our perspective, so the left edge of the target, but the right edge as I'm looking at it of the A box for the chest, that line, I was trying to step it in progressively as I pushed out to range. So I sent it out to 7 yards with the M9. I was shooting on the right side of the target from, again, the shooter's perspective. And I was trying to stay on the line and make a group there so I could look, you know, an inch or two away and see, okay, this was at 3, this is at 7. So it's a little closer of a comparison versus shooting, you know, at different targets. I did that and I shot the Legion worse, but I also wasn't taking my time because I was cocky about how well I shot it at 3 yards. So that was a poor decision on my part. I still shot it well enough and I'm still plenty happy with the results. So then I pushed it out, I think either to, it was like just within 10 yards. I think it was something like 9. And I took a few other shots and then I just started running the guns. I will say the M9A3 is very comparable to the SIG. This isn't going to be a formal versus, and I will do one with the M9A3 and the SIG 226 Legion once I get it, because I'm going to set it up identically. It's going to have a Surefire X300 UB on it, and that's how I plan to run it. I also already have a drop leg holster for it, so you know I'm serious. But the Legion shoots a little differently than the Beretta, but the Beretta shoots very, very well. So after running about 50 124 grain rounds through both of them, I switched to the 147s and the suppressor and started to run the gun. I tried a couple, you know, impromptu, unofficial drills, I guess you'd call it. I was just trying to do some Mozambiques and some double taps from double action to single action transitions and such. This was probably, if I had to rate myself on a shooting day, it was probably a C+, B-. I had some really nice clean shots, and then I had a bunch of stuff that was a mess. I really screwed up some of my gun handling and proper inputs into the weapons, so I failed all of us there. But overall, I really enjoyed the experience. I had more fun with the M9A3 having shot it once already, and I really enjoyed knowing what the setup would do for me and which setup to run versus the first time I rented it, where I was kind of like, well, let me take it out and try it out with this stuff and maybe do this and maybe do that. This was, hey, we've gone on our first date, now it's time for the second date, and I know what I'm getting into this time. So I had a really, really good time with it. It's a really good shooter, and I can't wait to get one now, and I can't wait to take it out and start running some drills with it and shooting and running and gunning and all that other good stuff. I will say that magazine-wise, I'm not super impressed with Beretta magazines, but I'm used to them after all this time in the Navy, and the 17 rounders are solid. They're just like any other Beretta magazine, but it fits 2 more rounds. And I don't know how I feel about the coating yet, but to be honest, a magazine's a magazine. Just so long as it functions, I'm happy. The Sights are solid. I don't think I'll change them. And I think when I buy one, I'll be looking at a G model. So as it stands right now, I'm definitely getting a tan or FDE or whatever, the multicolored tan M9A3. I'm going to be getting it in a G model. And I'm also really looking at the Sniper Gray because it looks a lot like this. So it'd be kind of cool to have one of those. And then just a Wilson 92G. Plus those are the cheapest ones, the standard ones. Just as a quick aside before I jump out of here, just to clarify a little bit. I love the Vertec frame on the M9A3. I didn't like it on the 92G. So I went to this one gun shop that had the LTT, and they had the standard 92G and they had the Vertec 92G. They didn't have a Centurion, which makes me sad because that's another gun on my list now. But the 92G regular version with the regular grip felt awesome. It doesn't mean I'm not going to get an M9A3 or be able to run either back to back. It's just for whatever reason I feel like the weight of the 92G needs that standard grip, whereas how light and fast the M9A3 is on its feet, I really think that the Vertec really benefits that sort of setup. So I'm going to be sticking with those for each respectively, and if you didn't get confused by what I just said. And I'll be skipping the LTT, not because the LTT is a bad gun or because any reason other than I'm just more drawn to the 92G. So I'll have a Brig and the M9A3, and then I'll decide what else I'm going to get from there, probably another M9A3. But I might also get a Centurion because I feel almost obligated to get one now because I had one before, but I sold it. So, and the Wilson Combat Centac has literally all the features that I said would make that gun good. So I feel like now, after having put 600 or 700 rounds through a Centurion, I should, you know, go back to my bread and butter, I guess, for the Beretta. But they'll all be powered by the same magazine, so I'm happy with that. And you know, it'll be nice to have a couple 92 series guns that aren't rack grade garbage military M9s. So I'm looking forward to that. But taking out this M9A3 again really solidified my drive to want to have one. I've rented a lot of guns in the past. I've fired a lot of different handguns, and I know when one's good, and I know when I have to have something because it just sits with me and it shoots well. And I don't know if you see it in the shooting footage, but you can really see that it fits me well, I run it well, and I keep it flat when I shoot it, which are very important things. And, you know, I'll rip a shot here and there, or I'll make a mistake, you know, handling it or whatever. But overall, it just sinks into my hand, gets there, and stays there, which is nice. I also am definitely solid on the G models. I like being able to put it on safe because, you know, 13 years in the Navy, but the G model I think is a lot better because it'll, you know, decock and then snap out of the way, which is important. You know what this means? If I rent it again, I absolutely have to buy it. So we'll see if I buy it next or not. I'm going to be buying 2 handguns this year and a couple of uppers, but we'll see what happens first, I guess. Thanks for watching. Take care of each other, stay safe. My SIG is still my favorite 9mm, by the way. And support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America.